Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Tom Stewart here. I'm with Liz Trotter. Our guest today is Victoria Yassem, and this is Smart Business Moves.
Woohoo! Hey, Victoria.
Hi. Hi, guys. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank
Yay.
you. It's a pleasure to have you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, Liz, maybe it's just me. I haven't been here in a while, have I?
No, you're always gone. I'm doing
That's
all the
nice.
heavy lifting on this channel. I don't know, Tom. I'm glad you're here for a change. Although, good time to mention I won't be here next week.
Oh, well, thanks. There we go again.
There you go. Yeah. So, we actually had a really great call last week. You missed out if you haven't gone and watched it yet.
Yeah, when I'm not here, it's usually some of the better material. I'm not sure how that works or why.
Yeah. I feel the same way though when I'm not here. But we have fresh meat today. I gotta
Great.
open up. Yeah, we do love the fresh meat, right? We've never had you on here, Victoria, and I would hazard that the majority of our viewers don't don't know who you are.
Well, hopefully that'll change.
Yeah.
So I am going to be speaking at the national conference. I will be doing a workshop, which I'm super, super excited about. But so me, I am a 15-year sales and marketing professional, and I actually started my B2B sales career selling for a commercial cleaning company. So the cleaning world is not new to me. It's something that I'm very familiar with. And I own now a digital marketing firm, and I also own a trade organization that specializes in helping businesses in the trades, such as commercial cleaning and residential cleaning companies, be able to network with each other and like exchange referrals that way without being sold to, which is kind of fun. So things have all progressed very quickly, and it's just a crazy whirlwind, and I'm so here for it. And I'm so excited to be here. So my company specializes in digital marketing, which is what I'll be speaking on at the conference. I'm so excited. I've got a great presentation for you guys. You guys are going to be at the conference, right?
Oh, yeah.
Liz and Tom?
Oh, you bet.
Okay, yeah. So I expect both of you to be participants in my class when I speak.
Looking forward to it.
We're gonna expect the same. You're gonna have to come to our presentations and participate as well.
I'm so here for it. I can't wait. But yeah, so that's kind of me. That's what I do. I live in Maryland. My firm works on a nationwide scale. My husband works for the police department, so he's never home, and I have a 5-year-old daughter. I like long walks on the beach, all that kind of stuff.
So you used to do sales for building service contractors?
So I worked for it's like a global company, but it wound up breaking down into franchises. And I don't want to say the name on here, like just in case, but I was their top sales rep for their Baltimore branch. And so it got to the point, I actually wound up leaving because I was selling commercial cleaning services so quickly that they couldn't fill them. And so I was like, I'm done. Goodbye. That's like the worst thing that you could do for a sales professional is like cut their territory back or slow them down. But I learned a lot from doing that. I went from like 10 years of retail experience jumping into a business sales role, and I had no idea what I was doing. I just did what I was told. They said, make this much money, so I made more. And we just kept rolling with it like that. But I did learn a lot about the cleaning industry, and I learned about the different systems that go into cleaning itself, along with like the lead gen portion of it. So, fast forward, gosh, it's been probably about 10 years since I worked there. Starting my own marketing and advertising firm, I learned a lot from what I did and learning about like the niche market and how to kind of look for the right prospects and all that kind of stuff to be able to kind of do what I do now. So it was very cool. I made a lot of really great relationships there, and it was really cool to kind of go on bids and see different stuff. Totally different world than residential, but not too much, right? Like we're still using a lot of the same products. The systems are still the same. The operations are still very similar. But it was cool. It was really cool. I got to see a lot of really cool stuff like behind the scenes, which was really cool.
So I really want to say one thing real quick to our audience. I know Tom always has a bunch of questions too, but I want to speak specifically to something you said. You used to be a salesperson, and one of the things that you said is one of the worst things you can do is reduce a salesperson's territory or tie their hands, right? Was basically
Absolutely
the idea. So I want to qualify that just a little bit for our audience because they're always looking to hire salespeople. And they're always like, oh, how can you tell if it's a good salesperson? How do you know? How do you know if you have someone good? So I want to change what you said. I just want to add one little word, a good salesperson. So
absolutely.
One of the worst things you can do for a good salesperson is reduce the amount of work that you want from them, not have availability, tie their hands so that they can't book. Because so many of our people are like, well, they're just not selling. I think I'll reduce the goals. No, a good salesperson doesn't want you to reduce their goals. They want you to make it so that they can achieve their goals. Am I right, Victoria?
Absolutely. So I think there's a lot of pieces to that portion. So one of the main pieces is, like you said, finding the right person, right?
Yeah.
But also providing them with the correct training. I have a salesperson on staff, and she's very green. She reminds me a lot of me when I first started at that company all those years ago. And giving her the right tools and teaching her a lot of the right stuff, right? So like as business owners, and some people, especially in the cleaning industry, are owner operators. And so learning how to kind of let go of some of that stuff and finding the right people to help you let go of some of that stuff. Like I personally, and this is like getting off topic a little bit, but I personally, I'm not a fan of business coaches, never have been until I met the right one. And I feel like it's kind of the same thing for sales oriented positions or, marketing or operations or whatever position that you have, is like, you're so used to doing this yourself that until that right person kind of comes along, that you're comfortable relinquishing some of those responsibilities to. And with sales, it's a tough market right now just for everyone. So finding the person who's not going to get discouraged very easily, who can take feedback very easily, is phenomenal, right? Like you struck a gold mine, grab that person and don't let them go. But the other side of it too is if you're going to grow at a quick rate like that, you have to be ready on the operations portion of it to schedule that for the cleanings. And for whatever else you need to do, like having the right people in place to do the scheduling, the right cleaners in place to do the actual cleaning, the follow-up, like to have your process in place to be able to grow. Because if you get the new clients, you can't service them, then that's like a whole other issue, right?
Yeah, for sure. All right. So because everything's related, right?
It is. It's a circle. It's a vicious circle. And if one of those pieces is not moving properly, it can kind of throw things off. So getting yourself ready for growth, especially when you have downtime, is key to hiring the right salesperson, but then also giving them the resources and the opportunities to grow.
Well,
Like in this industry, you always have too much of something and not enough of something else. You've got too much labor and not enough work, or too much work and not enough labor. But from a sales standpoint, you always want to have too much work. That's kind of what keeps.
Yeah, that's your job, right?
Yeah.
You're doing your job right if there's too much work, essentially. But I didn't learn until I actually owned the business how to make sure that you're set up for the growth on the back end and the operation side, and to make sure you have the people to do the work. So I definitely learned that from that company that I worked for, to be able to help move her in the right direction.
I don't think, did you mention the name of your company yet, Victoria? Tom, maybe we could drop a link.
Oh, I didn't? Oh gosh, this
No.
is just me. So I am with Red Ball Consultants.
Red Ball Consultants. All right. So we'll get a link there. Y'all want to follow along, check out Victoria's company there while we're chatting. So, I mean, I don't think that we're horribly off topic when we're talking about sales and digital marketing and staffing. I mean, because all of these things are connected, right? If one piece
100%.
is broken, then you're going to struggle. So you really love the digital marketing piece, though. Oh, I like this website. I like the look of this.
Oh, thanks.
How long have you been doing Red Ball?
So Red Ball actually just celebrated their 4th anniversary about 4 weeks ago was when I filed for that LLC. Thanks. But I've been in like the sales and marketing. Oh, I love that. That's cute. I've been in the sales and marketing world for 15 years. I have a degree in communications, like all of the things. I could tell you guys the story of the company, but I don't want to bore you unless you guys want to hear it. But
we love it.
Okay. So essentially, I was working full time. Like I said, my husband's a police officer, right? So his schedule is absolutely insane. And at the time we had a like 6-month-old daughter. She was anywhere between like 6 months and a year. I can't remember exactly. So I started Red Bull. It was originally just going to kind of be a side hustle, and it was just going to, you know, be that side business, that second stream of revenue while I was working full time. And nothing ever works out the way that you think it's going to. Oh, and COVID was a thing when I started this company. Can't forget about that. But it wound up taking off. And so I filed for my LLC, and 6 months later I had to do it full time. I didn't have a choice. So my husband, his whole life was to mitigate risk, right? He's like, what are you doing? What do you mean you're leaving a job to go on your own? He pretty much had a hernia, and he was like, I don't know what to think of this. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's an angel. He was so supportive, but he went from, you know, his job, he has job security. He's never going to be out of a job, to something that fluctuates and ebbs and flows. And he just was kind of like, what the hell are you doing? And I was like, it's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Like, you know, that meme of like the dog sitting in like the fire, and he's like, this is great. Yeah, that was my life. And so we just like, you know, I jumped in feet first and kind of grew it because I didn't really have a choice. And 4 years later, we have an office space, podcast studio, employees, and we're just growing like crazy and have a second company as well. So it was insane. It was absolutely insane.
Also during COVID.
I'm not even kidding.
COVID's a great time to do something like this because things are all kind of upside down anyway.
I mean, and the thing is the job that I had at the time, it was essential. I was working for a security company that would put in security cameras in like government buildings and whatnot. And so like, I was essential. I still was working. Like I didn't stop. I didn't have the Tiger King break that everybody got, and because I didn't have a choice. So it was kind of crazy. And just to see how quickly it grew in that 6 month span of like, oh, this is just a side hustle. It'll be vacation money, you know, whatever. And I actually originally started the company to be a sales firm. So the goal was to go out and teach people how to do my job, because I had always been so good at sales. And again, nothing ever works out the way you think it's going to. So it took a hard left turn, and we wound up in the social media space, and it's a lot of fun. It really is. Like, there's nothing better than making a TikTok and sending it to your clients and then watching it go viral. And you're like, oh, I made that. Like, that's fun. So it was very cool. It's been a roller coaster. And so all of this stuff you're saying about finding the right salesperson and getting your operations together to be able to take on more work, I literally have done that in the past 4 years. I just found the right people to help guide me to figure out the stuff that I didn't know. And I am always willing to learn and listen to feedback, especially from people that I trust. I'm always willing to change and grow and try something new. So here we are.
Okay, that's a good story. I'm glad you shared it. It wasn't that long. I was thinking it was going to be like a 15-minute story.
Oh no, I gave you the condensed version. I'm not trying to bore anyone with all of the details, but it was a with ride at first. I don't think I slept for like 6 months.
And especially a brand new baby. We've had some people doing stuff like that. How old was Nina's baby when she came to Foundations? Do you remember? Young.
An infant for sure.
Yeah, we had somebody, student come to a program that we put on. It's called Foundations, where we take them for a week and put them on the beach. Yeah. Aww. I think he was 8 months old. Poor little James. He was just really little. So I'm always surprised by people that are, or maybe impressed is a better word, right? I'm impressed by people that they're just going to make it happen. Go do the thing.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I learned a lot about time management. A lot. Yeah, but it was one of those things where I felt like I was in the right place at the right time, and I didn't really want to go back to working for someone, and I wanted to be in this space. So you just kind of got to do what you got to do, and you got to make it work. Like my daughter, so like I said, my husband's schedule is insane. She's actually in the next room right now, so if you guys hear noises, it's not a mouse, it's my kid. She has been going to networking events since she was like 2.5 years old. And her network is bigger than all of ours combined. Like she literally walks into a room and people are like, what's up, Chloe? What's going on? Aww. And she just, goes off and talks to people. And it was really, really cool. Because to be quite honest, I kind of got to the point where, don't get me wrong, I won't take her to like a suit and tie, high heels kind of black tie thing. I have my boundaries with that, but if it's a happy hour, if it's something in the evening, I'm just like, I have to. I either don't go or I take her with me, and she loves it. She gets to meet all kinds of people, and they all wind up giving her something. There was one time this guy at a networking event, he kept giving her money, and I was like, Lester, what are you? I mean, look, it was like $5.
Okay.
But he made the mistake of giving her like $5 one time. So the next time she saw him, she was like, "Where's my money?"
Yeah.
At 5 years old, it's like this. Yep, that's my child.
I'm not listening quickly though. I like that entrepreneurial part there. Like, how do I?
I gave birth to myself. I did. Like, we're in trouble, but yeah. So anyway, she's part of the family business just as much as I am.
Oh, it's very cool.
Oh.
So, go ahead, Tom.
You are going to be presenting at the ISSA Residential. You're going to be a speaker for ISSA Residential at convention this year, correct?
I am. I'm so excited. I've been to Vegas like a couple times, but never on a scale like this. And I'm super, super excited to come out there and meet everyone and be able to hopefully help some people out and share some information.
Oh. If you're not a member of ISSA Residential, I'll drop their domain in chat as well. And if you want to know more about the convention that's coming up in November 17 through 21, Liz will be there, I'll be there, Victoria will be there, and in total, I don't know, 16,000 other people will be there.
Not that big, right? Not that big.
What are we doing on the 17th, Tom, on Sunday? Do we have classes on that day? I just realized I'm flying in.
That's education. Usually they have some certification. They're probably doing, Bruce might be doing HCT certification, for instance. That's the kind of stuff. Okay. They do SIMS training. There's probably several training programs they start on Sunday.
The welcome reception, all that good stuff.
Yeah. The actual exhibit starts 19 through 21, but on Monday, I guess, which would be the 18th, that's when a lot of the education starts. Okay. Like the presentation that Victoria will be giving will probably be either Monday, I presume Monday, maybe Tuesday.
Do you know when you're presenting, Victoria?
You know what? Off the top of my head, I don't remember. I do have it, and if it's okay, I can send it to you guys. And if you want to, put it out there, that'd be great.
Well, tell us a little bit about. I think I heard you say that you were going to do a workshop, right?
Yeah. So I've taught a bunch of classes before, and kind of taking the feedback that I've gotten from the classes and seminars that I've taught. I really wanted to put together something that, if you sit in my class or you sit in my room, you leave and you're like, oh, I can do this right away, right? Like something that you can just like get your hands dirty with, and it's not theory, and you're not leaving like, what the hell did I just sit through? That's how I run my business. I'm like, let's go. We don't have time to try and Google something. Like, let's figure this out. So what I'll be teaching on is kind of finding your niche market and how to market to that appropriately to get leads on social media. So we have a cleaning company. I'll give you guys a great example. We have a commercial and residential cleaning company that we work with. We've been working with her for quite a while, and I got this idea. My daughter had the stomach bug. I wound up with the stomach bug. My husband wound up with the stomach bug. Yeah, it's horrible. And I just remember sitting there like, what am I going to do? Like, how am I going to clean this house? Like, I have to disinfect all of the things on top of trying to run two businesses, on top of all of the things. And so I reached out to my client and I was like, I have an idea for an ad campaign. And she's like, okay, let's hear it. But the campaign came from knowing that people like myself are her target market, right? Residential cleaning, like typically the wife makes the decision in a male-female household, typically, and the income range, like all that kind of stuff. Like we kind of are like her avatar. And so I was like, what do I want to see? Right. And that's kind of the whole point of niching down is when you're doing your marketing efforts, you really need to figure out not what do you want to see, Liz or Tom, what does your avatar, and when I say avatar, it's like a target market, want to see? So we came up with this really cool ad campaign. I wrote together like 3 friends of mine, and I was like, I need you guys to film a video for me real quick. And it was like all of us, like no makeup, looking like a hot mess. And I can send it to you guys later if you want to see it. but it was like, yeah, it's great. And if I had it on because I'm on the computer now, if I had it on the computer, I'd show you, but it's on my phone. But it was like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Like, what am I going to do? And so we ran it, targeted it on Facebook, and now she's just getting leads off of the forums. Like she's doing it relatively low budget. And so doing kind of what I'm telling you to do, you don't have to spend a ton of money to get some of these leads. Like some of these companies make you think that you do. I want to say her budget's like $20 a day on Facebook, which is relatively low. And she's pumping out some leads for this because I decided to make a video with no makeup on my face. And I made some of my friends do it. But pretty much the video is just clipped up into like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. And it's frustrated moms, and you can hear the yelling and the screaming in the background, right? And we just happen to pull it together very quickly, but it is working, right? And so figuring out like what your target market is going to help you generate some of those leads. And then it's just going to be better for all of your marketing efforts. So figuring out like if you decide to do print or media, even the networking groups that you go to, right? Like if you're going to a networking group and it's not the person, like not your avatar, why are you there? Why are you wasting your time? Everyone's time is super valuable. It's the most important asset that we have as business owners is time. You have to spend it wisely. You have to be making the connections wisely. You have to be strategic. So what I'm going to show you guys is a slide from my presentation, if that's okay. I don't want to give away too much, but I'm going to show one thing that might, someone on here might be like, oh, I actually need some help with that. So as soon as you guys can see it, let me know.
It's up.
Are we good? Awesome.
Yep.
Okay. So this is a screenshot of like a dummy Facebook ad that I created for this presentation, right? So it's in the audience section of the ad campaign. So you see we have gender, we have age range, location. Location is very important. I'm on Facebook all the time for obvious reasons. And you don't know how many times I get ads for roofing companies in Texas. Like, I don't understand. Like, I'm not going to help you. I even being, me and kind of an a-hole, I messaged one of them and I was like, hey, I just want to let you know I'm in Maryland and I'm seeing your ad campaigns. And he literally was like, I don't know you. I'm like, clearly, that's the problem, right? Like, you don't know me.
Kind of my point.
Literally. So I tried. But making these small adjustments can be really, really helpful to some of your ad campaigns. And so what I'm going to be doing is explaining why this is important, going through the different kinds of target markets, giving examples, and then by the time you guys leave, or by the time the class is over, you'll be walking away with your own worksheets that you will hopefully have filled out with like who your target market is, right?
Nice.
And so you can take those worksheets and literally pop them into here as a baseline for what's working for your avatar. So under here is detailed targeting. I mean, you can get as detailed as like engaged or married. The only thing I will say is with Facebook specifically, some people lie on their Facebooks. So like you kind of gotta, figure out like what's going to work and what's not going to work. And that's a little bit of trial and error based on your geography and your avatar and your type of company. But really trying to figure out like who you're marketing to be able to create the better content and then to be able to put the money behind it. And that's what this slide is this is explaining like how to put the money behind it correctly. So I'm really excited to teach this. I've gotten really good feedback when I've gone through this before. And it's funny because when I start the workshop, people usually stare at me like, what is she talking about? But then like once it gets going, they're like, oh, this makes sense. Because there's nothing worse for your business than like, oh, I can sell to everyone. Like, honey, no, that's not how marketing works, right? So yeah, that's like a little teaser slide. Hopefully somebody sees this and they're like, oh, I want to learn more about that. And they come to my class. So I'm not sitting there by myself.
Oh, no, I'll be there, guaranteed.
So me and Liz aren't sitting there by ourselves.
So
I think you'll have a full house. It's scary though, especially when you're starting out, or especially when you're just cutting it really thin on a cash flow standpoint. Not to take every customer that you can get your hands on, and the idea of defining your persona, your avatar, and saying these are my customers and these people aren't. It takes a leap of faith. It takes a lot of courage to do that.
It does. And I'm not saying that just because your avatar is one thing that's all you can work with, right? Like if I'm your avatar and Tom calls you, yes, work with him by all means. Like that's not what I'm saying. But the process behind it or the thought behind it is things affect me differently than they affect Tom or that they affect Liz. And so it's really trying to speak to people and get them to pay attention to your marketing. And on a social media level, I mean, you're being hit with so much different content. Like, what's going to spark your interest? What's going to hit that little knob, like that little knob in your brain, and make you actually click on the ad or fill out the form or make the phone call or Google the company. And a lot of it too is some brand recognition, right? So Nike, everyone knows what Nike is. Everyone knows what Subway is, right? Like, that's not because one day someone woke up and was like, oh, this is Subway, right? Like, no, they spent the time going through figuring out like who their target market was. And for companies that big, they have different avatars as well. So there's a whole like science behind it. There's a lot of psychology behind it. But as far as like without overwhelming everyone in the room, like what I've come up with is a really easy way to figure out like how to spend the most of your time and the most of your money. And finding that avatar, and finding like who you really want to do business with. Because don't get me wrong, like I have a bunch of clients that I absolutely love and they've been with me forever and they're not my avatar, but it doesn't mean that I don't like working with them.
Right.
I find that to be a really hard concept for people. They're afraid.
Oh, it is 100%.
Oh, so hard, right?
They're terrified. Just like Tom said, they're terrified.
Yeah. I love that Tom used the word brave. You have to be brave. It takes courage to say, this is not my avatar. Not that I'm not going to clean for these people, but these are not the people I'm going to target. So just choosing, this is who I'm targeting. This is who I want to go after. I want more of these. I like to position it that way. Just who do you want more of? Instead of
exactly
who you want only, who do you want more of, right?
Exactly. And that's what I tell. So when we sign on a new client, the first thing we do is an avatar workshop, right? So we make them sit down and we go through this. And there was one time, God love real estate agents, but they are the worst when it comes to marketing sometimes because they want to market to everyone and they do the blanket marketing. And there was one client that I had, he's such a sweetheart and, we're fine. But me and him got in like a straight fight one time because he's like, I can market to everyone. And I had the worksheet that I'm going to be giving out at the conference. And he's like, Vicki, I want to market to everyone. And I was like, no, sit down. You cannot do like, we literally got in like an entire fight over it.
Yes.
And oh yeah. And I mean, it was a playful fight. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like screaming at my clients, but it was just funny because like, he's like, give me like 30 sheets. And I was like, no, Mike, no, you get 2 sheets. Like, that's it. But so he finally started to see and he started to drink the Kool-Aid and understand, because even as a real estate agent, like, yeah, you can go sell the townhouse and the condo, but like, what's going to pay your bills, right? Is it that mansion? Are you better with single family? And then it's also the problem with real estate. I mean, I'm going on a tangent, but with real estate, it's such a emotional transaction. It's literally like the biggest financial transaction you will probably make in your entire life is buying a house. And you want to talk about terrifying. It is terrifying. But so kind of even just for, commercial residential cleaning, like finding that heartstring, right? So like that video I was telling you about, like that really resonates with people because like kids are getting sick constantly, like houses are destroyed and then on top of it, you have to disinfect everything. What? No, I don't have time for this. So kind of putting that together and running that ad campaign for her. It's actually still running right now and she's still getting leads off of it. If nothing else, if they don't click on that box to fill out that form or make that phone call, they're seeing your company and what they represent, right? So finding your avatar is also helping find your voice as well.
Okay. Oh, I love that too about finding your voice. Are you going to be doing any of that in your workshop? Because I mean, this is a huge topic. You got 1 hour.
Believe it or not, this slideshow takes me a while. People have had to tell me to stop talking when I run through this presentation. But so finding your voice and like your brand tone is a whole other monster.
Yeah.
It's something that I will probably touch on a little bit, but it's really hard to go into depth with it while trying to teach this content as well. So it's a great topic. If you don't have a voice or you don't have a brand voice or brand standard, I highly recommend doing it. It will make your life so much easier. But maybe for next year, maybe I'll just teach a seminar on brand standard for next year. If they let me come back.
Every year you add on another little piece.
Yeah. If they let me come back and they don't kick me out. So
I can already tell they're going to love you. Right? You can tell Tom. She's going to be a great presenter.
Oh, I hope so.
This is going to rock. This is going to rock. And
oh, thanks, guys.
I know it's a little bit beyond scope, but it's important to at least recognize that when you like figure out who your avatar is and you get your brand voice, that kind of creates your culture too, or at least a
100%.
contributing factor to it. And what your workforce becomes and your operationally, what you do. I mean, different avatars have different needs, different expectations. You can't be everything to everybody.
100%.
And you are able to get really excellent at what you do when you're able to focus on who your customer really is.
Oh, that's 100%. And it helps you 100% through the hiring process too, right? Even just looking at specific age ranges of, are you going after 24-year-olds who are on TikTok all day? Okay, I need to hire a 24-year-old that can talk TikTok to people, right? So really kind of figuring out your voice is very, very important. It will help tremendously with figuring out where you need to go for your marketing. Sorry, my kid's trying to open the door.
Let her in. I mean, we can't give her $5, but
can I let her in? Is that okay? Okay, yeah, sorry. Hold on one second. She went to the restroom and then got locked out. So hold on.
Come on, Chloe. Come on in. We want to see you. I bet she looks just like her mom.
Chloe, come here. Come here, Ethan. Come say hi real quick. Come here.
Okay, Megan is saying that, right, Megan? I'm with you. That's
why
I'm with you. Right? That's why I'm going to be there, because she's like a real person, but like a friend, right? A friendly person. Hey, Chloe, we want to see you.
I know. They want to meet you, Chloe. She's been at school all day, and now she's at another room watching Bluey.
She does look
Chloe.
Hi.
How are you? Did you have fun at school today?
Yeah.
Do you have school or do you have camp?
School.
We call it school, but it's like she goes to kindergarten next year, so it's like a pre-K program.
Yeah. She's getting prepped, ready to go.
Yeah, and she's such a smart cookie. Like I can't. The stuff that comes out of her mouth, I'm just like, I can't deal with you. Like, go to your father. I can't.
No, they are smarter. They just are smarter than they were.
The stuff that she says, I'm like, I didn't even know that was a word when I was 5 years old. Whatever. Teaches out. Yeah, she's nuts. So she actually, I fight. Well, I shouldn't say I fight. I train boxing and Muay Thai. And so my daughter, I got her into jujitsu. So she's also a fighter. So you have two very feisty women in a house with a cop who tries to mitigate risk all day. It's fun.
Oh my God. Yeah. I'm thinking it does sound like a fun household for sure.
Just pray for my husband if you believe in Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Poor guy. I have a couple of questions for you that are kind of specific. I'm wondering if let me get rid of this real quick. Do you have like social media channels that you really like or that you recommend for different industries? Like you were talking about real estate. I'm guessing that they are doing different things than a residential cleaning and also then maybe commercial cleaning. How do you determine that?
That's a really good question. And I'm so glad that you asked because I actually go into that with my presentation. So a lot of it depends on your avatar, right? So if you're a real estate agent, most of the time LinkedIn isn't really going to be beneficial for you unless you work it. So each platform has its own positives and negatives. The thing that people forget about each platform is that Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and Twitter and all the things, like, they're all businesses and they get paid with our time. And then they also, okay, let me see it. I'm so sorry. Anyone watching, I'm so sorry. Thank you.
Hey, Denise.
So anyone who, I lost my train of thought. So we are paying for these platforms with our time. Yes, we're paying for it with our time, but then also like us staying on there as consumers, we're getting exposed to the ad dollars that are being spent, right? So people forget that they're a business. So that's where coming and figuring out your avatar is going to be really beneficial is, okay, if I'm going after a mom, 2.5 kids, suburbia, all of the things. Where is it going to make sense for her to see my ad campaign? Or where is it going to make sense for her to see my content? And I keep talking about ad campaigns, but realistically, you can get really good leads off of a lot of the Facebook groups and the Facebook content that you create if you don't have a budget for it. And it doesn't cost anything. It just costs you getting on Canva and making some stuff yourself, right? The presentation that I'm going to go over is not ad heavy. This conversation has just been a little bit ad heavy, but there's a lot of content that you can create for free. Well, I say free, your time is not free. Chloe, turn it down, please. So sorry.
Like the
Bluey.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone's watching this and their kid watches Bluey, but like, oh my gosh. Love Bluey, but also like she just turned the volume all the way up. So anyway, the content that you create also goes back to that voice, right? And a lot of the times, like a lot of my clients get really good leads out of the Facebook groups. So if you can find groups that are your avatar, so like where I am, there's like Maryland moms or Bel Air moms, or that's an avatar for my residential cleaning company client. If you're looking more for, whatever else, more commercial side things, LinkedIn is going to probably be your best option for a platform. Are those people on Facebook and Instagram personally? Yes. Is it good for brand recognition? Absolutely. They're different.
So does it have to do with, as you're talking, I'm thinking, yes, the same people are going to be on LinkedIn, they're going to be on Facebook, but I'm open to different messages when I'm on Facebook than I am when I'm on LinkedIn. When I'm on LinkedIn, I'm looking for a certain type of message, and that's what I'm honing in on. I'm not really open to the other stuff. Not that I'm going to, eschew it, but I'm not going to be like
eschew it.
What's another word for issue?
I don't know. I've never heard you use that word before.
Sorry.
Just blow it off, maybe. I don't know.
No.
Dismiss. Like you'll dismiss the messages?
Ignore. Yeah. Dismiss. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Tom, why you got to take us off track like that?
That's why I'm here.
All right. So it does kind of matter, even if so I might want like a 30 to 40-year-old woman with 2.5 kids, and they're on LinkedIn, and they're also on Facebook, and they are on Instagram, and they are on TikTok. They're all over the place. But how do I know where to put my ads where they're going to want to see them?
I ate 2 of these.
Stop eating chocolate.
That's the best time to eat chocolate is when mom's on
Mm-hmm.
You're right. She is smart.
You can have a third if you want to.
So we're in my office. Her daycare, pre-K, whatever you want to call it, is down the street, is like 10 minutes away. And we're in my office right now. And she has, if I could flip the camera on, I'd show you guys, she has her own desk in here, like a kid desk that's like so perfect for her. Well, I told her for this that she has to go in the other room, and I shut the door. There's a lot of chocolate in the other room.
Oh.
So she's
what she's
a little
eating.
hyped up, maybe. She's excited. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You notice the moms in the room are not encouraging a third piece of chocolate.
You know what? As long as she sits in there and she's quiet, I don't care. Just give me the rest of this meeting. Anyway, so to your question, to your point, LinkedIn is phenomenal for getting in front of very specific industry positions, right? Okay. So if you are a commercial and residential company, right? Yeah. And you want to get in front of a property manager that works for CBRE Properties in Hunt Valley, Maryland, blah, 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 blah. You can find that, and then you can message them. But the problem is if your avatar is like a mom, 2.5 kids, thanks, Megan. I'll send her to your house afterwards. If your avatar is a mom, 2.5 kids, you're probably not going to know that from LinkedIn. You're going to know that more from Facebook, because more personal information is on Facebook, more professional information is on LinkedIn, right? So LinkedIn is a whole other monster. LinkedIn is kind of my baby. Like I've gotten a lot of success off of LinkedIn personally professionally in my career. I've been able to meet with very high level people just by sending them a message. And it's wild. So if you use it correctly, maybe that'll be my third year. Maybe I'll talk about LinkedIn after after next year. But using LinkedIn, it is a very powerful tool, and I feel like it's very underplayed. The thing is people get these messages literally directly to their phone. So instead of cold calling, if you're going on the commercial side, if you're cold calling or door knocking or whatever you're doing, like you can literally send a message directly to their inbox, and you just have to hope that they answer it. But there's a bunch of different things that you can do and say to get them to click on it typically. Where Facebook and Instagram, that's more of a personal thing, right? Like you're going to know someone's married, has kids, has dogs, cats, their kids sick because people put everything on Facebook. So like that's where you're going to get that information from. Are both people on the same platforms? Absolutely, they can be. There's no reason. I mean, I'm on everything. Even before owning my own marketing firm, I was on everything. But it's not going to be beneficial for a residential company to be marketing solely on LinkedIn. Would it hurt to put content up there? No, absolutely not. Go for it. If you have the time or the resources. But if you're on a strict budget and you're business to consumer, meaning like you're residential, Facebook and Instagram are probably going to be your best bet.
Okay. So speaking to that, what you just said, if you have time, resources, etc. Well, what about these platforms like Hootsuite and that, where they blast it out to all of the platforms all at one time? Do you like those? Not like them? Recommend?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So we are probably a little unconventional in how we do it, but it seems to work. So why mess with it? So I have looked at Hootsuite. I've used Social Pilot. Social Pilot's a pretty inexpensive platform that kind of spits out to everything. Really though, what we do, Facebook and Instagram are both owned by Meta, right? They're both the same company. They offer, and it's like an extra step, but we actually have someone on staff that schedules content for us. So it's not that much harder for her. Facebook and Instagram have their own scheduler that is free. It's on the platform, and you can schedule. It's like a couple weeks out. You can schedule stories. Stories are definitely better done in the moment. There's more options when you can just upload it from your phone. But for the actual content, you can just schedule it out on Facebook for free. Like you don't have to pay for it. And then LinkedIn also, they have their own scheduler, and I think it's a couple weeks out now. They just launched it probably about like 4 months ago, where you can just schedule content on the platform itself without having to buy Hootsuite. So Twitter, I'm not sure if you can schedule Twitter. To be quite honest, we don't have a lot of clients that use Twitter. Like we messed with it, but it doesn't really do much for you unless you're like Under Armour or Nike. And then Pinterest, if you're on Pinterest, using a scheduler like that is definitely beneficial. Go in the other room, please.
So
I'm so sorry. Like really, anyone that's
are we
watching,
still
I'm so
on
sorry.
2 pieces of chocolate, or are we up to 3 now?
How many pieces of chocolate have you had?
Look.
2, 3, 2?
2 pieces.
In the other room,
2's a
please.
good number. I would stay with 2.
2. It's an even number.
Although Megan is voting for 3.
Take this. Go.
No,
No,
I mean
bye.
a cup that's empty so I can pour some orange juice in it.
No, you're not pouring orange juice. Go sit down.
Okay, so
Sorry.
Victoria, you said that if you're working on a limited budget, there's a lot of value you can create in some social media channels like Facebook without really buying ads or even
Absolutely.
boosting ads. At what point do you, for a growing company, at what point would you want to make the transition to actually investing money in your, say, Facebook advertising?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. I would say that it's up to your cash flow. So for Facebook, it's just like everything else. You got to spend money to make money, right? So if you put an ad up with a $5 budget, you have to be realistic about what you're going to get from it versus if you do $20 or $100 a day or whatever the case may be. There isn't like a special sauce. There isn't a special sauce like, oh, you hit this much in revenue, you need to switch it. I would say the sooner you can do it, the better, but also be realistic about what you're going to get from it with the budget that you put in it. And I know that's like a very broad answer, but it's like a case by case basis. Facebook ads, like I said earlier, Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn, they're businesses. Mark Zuckerberg does not own half of the world because we just watch Facebook, right? Like he's getting paid through ad campaigns and brand deal, whatever he's doing. So that's why you have to spend more to kind of get more exposure realistically. But if you're on a strict budget, sharing your content into Facebook groups, asking questions in Facebook groups is beneficial. Try and get people to tag you. Like I can't tell you how many mom groups I'm a part of where they're like, oh, I need a commercial cleaning company, or oh, I need an HVAC, or oh, whatever the case may be. And they tag people. Start tagging your own company. Like have a company. And that's the other thing too, is I don't think we really went over this at all, but some people get in the habit of using their personal page as their business page. Like don't do that. It's not professional. Yeah, you don't want to do that. So make your own business page and start tagging your page and put it everywhere. Like you're going to want to blast it out as much as you can, get as many followers as you can, invite people to the page. And this is all stuff that you can do for free. Like literally you put your kid to bed, you go sit in your bed and you just tinker on Facebook for a little while. Creating the content and figuring out your avatar is definitely going to be the most important, because if you're spitting content out that you spent all this time making and it doesn't reach your audience, like so say your avatar is me, right?
Yeah.
I pay a lot of money to get my hair dyed. I drive a white SUV. I've got a kid that won't leave me alone. I live in a house. I'm married, all the things, right? Yeah. Well, if you start pumping out content for a cleaning company and it has to do with your 20-year-old son who leaves crumbs all over his keyboard, right? Like that's not going to resonate with me because I have no son that's 20 years old, right? And that's like a very, very extreme example, but just so you can kind of get the idea. Because the content that you pump out you're going to want to have that same avatar, right? And typically I recommend don't have more than like 2 avatars, 3 at the most, that you're pumping content out for. Because Facebook and Instagram, like their job is to keep you on the platform. You have like minimal seconds to get people to look at your content. And if they look on it, or if they look at it, if they engage with it, whatever, then it's going to keep spitting your content back up, right? And so that's the goal, is to get them to actually look at this stuff and to engage with it, or even just look at it for more than a couple seconds, and then it'll start to pop back up again. So I feel like I kind of went on a tangent, but hopefully that answered your question, Tom.
No, that's good. And as an intermediate step, I mean, you were showing us earlier the slide in terms of the mechanics of, or at least part of the mechanics of creating an ad to post. If you have a post that you just created organically that's out there, and if you think that can help your business, boosting, I guess, is an option as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Is there value in that?
100%. So when it comes to boosting, I recommend boosting to get the...
Here's a present.
Thank you. Can you go in the other room? Go in the other room, please. I'm so sorry.
No, that picture.
Go in the other room.
Here. Finish that picture.
Okay.
Let us see the picture.
She's gone. Let's just let her go. She's gone. So for boosting, you're probably going to want to use the call to action. And during my presentation, you'll probably hear me say that a lot. Call to action CTA. It's literally just like, what are you telling these people to do, right? Making it idiot proof. Call today. Book now. Info now. Whatever. But the call to action for boosts, I would either do like call now, or I would do follow the page. And that's like the ad that pops up where it gives you like the thumbs up that you can like click on. Yeah. Boosts are very, very helpful. I actually follow a competitor of mine who doesn't believe boosts are helpful. And I don't understand why, because we get tons of engagement off of boosts for our clients. So, but being strategic, right? So if you have a post, say you put up 5 posts in a week, right? That's kind of a lot, but if you put up 5 in a week and the one on Wednesday, for some reason, is still getting a hit, it's still getting engagement, it's still rolling, put money behind that one. Don't pick the one that like was a dud, right? Because not every post is going to be stellar. It's not. And a lot of the stuff that goes viral, people don't understand, like there's a lot of like accounts that are reposting that stuff. And there's a lot more that go behind consistent viral videos. It's very rare that you put something up and it goes viral organically. It's happened to us one time and it was insane. It was like watching the lottery, like the numbers kept going up and up and up. And I was like, what is going But that video specifically got like over 1 million views organically. And it was the perfect storm. It was wild. The perfect storm of like a trending song, a trending video type on like the right platforms at the right time. But you see what I mean? Like there's a lot of different things to make like that perfect storm. So staying current with what's trending as well, especially for videos, if you do video content, and that's a whole other thing too. I feel like we could talk for like hours on this subject, but video content is kind of a necessity, right? So if you're posting 5 times a week, you probably want the like 2 or 3 of those to be videos, right? Like videos is what's going to get you seen a good majority of that time.
I see we're running out of time, and I have questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got 4 questions on here. I'm like, all right,
come on, let's go.
Oh no, sorry. All right, so we were talking before about putting money behind an ad and a little bit that. Is there like a ROAS target that we're looking for? Is there like, if it's you're getting 5% and don't bother, but if you're getting 40%, are there any kind of numbers like that we would be looking at?
That's a good question, and a lot of it depends on budget and how big your page is. And she's so sweet. I like Megan. Megan, you have to come talk to me in Vegas if you're going.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of determining factors. I wouldn't put a specific percentage, but there is something called a click-through rate that you will get analytics for when you pull them. I would watch those. So the click-through rate essentially is like the cost per click, right? So if you click on an ad campaign, Facebook tallies all of that and then does like the average. So it'll tell you too. It makes it very easy. This is higher than normal, whatever. So to put it into perspective, most of our ad campaigns for clients run anywhere from $1 to like, I think we've had one as low as like 12 cents an ad, right? Which is super, super low. And that means that these people are getting a lot of clicks for what they're spending, right? Like they're getting more for their money. I had a prospective client one time tell me that his click-through rate was $35 a click. And I was like, are you nuts? What are you doing? And he was running these ads himself. I was like, but that's not okay. So I would say for the basics, right? Like this is just keeping it as basic as I possibly can. Watching that click-through rate and tweaking based on that is probably your best bet for simplicity.
Okay. Keep watching it go up. Try to get it higher. All right. So this goes.
Keep it down.
Oh yeah, lower. Sorry.
Yeah.
So this goes to my next question. So we're trying to build content. What do you think about AI?
I love AI. We use it all the time. Be careful with it because it is only as smart as you let it be, essentially. We use ChatGPT all the time. It's great for captions if you need a little inspiration for captions. It does kind of the average job, I would say. Right? You're not going to get like a stellar caption out of it. You're not going to get a stellar marketing plan. You're going to get kind of like the bare bones. And I've done things like I've created a marketing plan with it for like Red Ball, and I've used that as the skeleton or like for ideas and change things and move things.
Okay.
I learned the hard way. It will misspell things. So if you type in, Tom with 2 O's, it will put Tom with 2 O's in every place that you need Tom, right? So learn that the hard way. So I would say it's really great to use as a baseline.
Kind of a starting point then,
Sure.
like a jump up. Okay, I love that. And then and I'm going to be bouncing all over the place because as I'm taking notes, we're moving on. How about the new, I guess not that new, but being meta verified? Good, not good? What do you think?
If you can do it, do it. I tried to apply for it for my page and it didn't take for whatever reason. I don't know their stipulations on it. If you can do it, do it.
I think it's $11.99 a month right now to do it. And you're thinking it's going to be worth it. It's going to have value.
I mean, it's just helping with those like spam accounts is kind of the whole point of it, right? And that's the other thing. I've had so many clients that get the like spam messages on Facebook where for me is very clearly spam, but they're like, oh my God, is my page getting shut down? I'm like, no, honey, I've gotten this message 15 times today from different accounts.
I want something else.
Yes, go. So if you can do it, do it. If it'll take, do it. So yeah, I don't see a downside for that. These are good questions, guys.
So I feel like your topic is really good. We don't have time to keep asking a million more questions, but
We do have time to go to Las Vegas in November and participate in a workshop. And I bet we could ask a couple of questions while we're there as well.
And Denise wants contact info. So
we will go back to the website. I'm assuming, Victoria, is the best way to get a hold of you is just through your website? You got
or email. Email's fine. I'm fine putting my email out there. It's literally my first name at redballconsultants.com. So Victoria, normal spelling like Victoria's Secret, at redballconsultants.com.
Redballconsultants.com. Okay, because I know Denise, she loves to make contacts. Okay. .com. All right, perfect. And what's the title? Do you know what the title is of your presentation?
I do. Hold on.
Digital marketing, how to grow your presence and get leads.
There you go.
Nice. And Tom, by any chance, do you have a date?
No.
All right, but we do know that it's going to be 18th through the 20th, y'all. Or maybe the 21st. I'm speaking on the 21st. So closing up the show. So usually 18th through the 20th. If you want more leads, you're going to have to be there.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
I can tell already with your energy.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, we can tell.
Victoria, it was really great meeting you. You're a lot of fun. You're a wonderful guest. Meeting your daughter as well.
She will not be coming to Vegas, by the way.
Okay. Hopefully she only had 3 pieces of chocolate at most.
I'm going to be honest. I don't care at this point.
Yeah.
I give up.
There are times where it really doesn't matter. Yeah. Priorities. Yeah.
I get it. So we'll be back. At least some of us will be back next Wednesday, 5 o'clock Eastern. Smart Business Moves. Till then, everybody take care. Victoria, thank you again. We'll be seeing you soon.
Yeah, Victoria.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. This was awesome.
Thank you. Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.